Hey there everybody! Seth here with yet another Monark boss video! This one will probably end up quite short by comparison, as this will be the first time we talk about only one boss. I did consider pairing them together with the boss that comes after it, but this boss theme was one of my favorites in the game, and I figured he was important enough to warrant his own showing. I also feel like keeping the next few solo fight bosses to their own videos will make them more digestible, but do let me know whether you'd like that or if I should do a second trio episode next. That explained, our solo boss, or rather mid-boss of the day, is none other than Dark or Fake Shinya. Whichever of those you prefer, it's undeniable this was among the more depressing fights. The song for this fight, Dear, is the only quote-unquote sad boss theme I really adore in this game. I'll be honest, I was sleeping on this boss's power before recording this, until I realized one crucial detail that might cement him on the upper levels. Nonetheless, I intend to keep this brief, and there's not too much to show off, so let's get into it and see what Little Bro can do.
Let's go, Kokoro!
For the future I seek.
Here I go!
With all of
On your knees!
Vice President?
Man, do I love the look of this boss. Obviously, it's just a Magic Gear level 2 Shinya with a black coloring instead of a white, but Shinya's probably got one of the cooler Magic Gear designs, so it really gives him a fallen angel sort of look. His Magic Gear also normally turns black during madness or enlightenment, so I imagine the model is just that without the flashy effects. One subtle but notable difference, though, is the fact that this Shinya wears a cover over his face. Looks aside, being a distorted copy of Shinya, he also has his own unique voice line for basically every action in the game, which is mainly what I'll be demonstrating in this video, along with his ability to kick ass. Speaking of ass-kicking ability, Dark Shinya's stats provide a good potential for it. Being based off debatably the best party member in the game next to Ryotaro, this copy inherits the real Shinya's high attack and agility. Being a boss, though, gives us one ridiculously high HP of 4,000, which helps negate the real Shinya's drawback of paper-thin defenses. This is made even better by the fact that his giant HP pool allows him to sustain himself very well with weight commands that will heal him for 600 HP every time. His actual defense stat, however, is lower than that of Kokoro, Ryo, and their Monarchs from before, likely due to him being a mid-boss. On top of that, he shares the real Shinya's below-average size stat, leaving him vulnerable to authority damage. Every stat besides Psi and HP is lower than that of a maxed party member Shinya. But don't be fooled! This pale imitation is still quite a threat in his own right. As we know from Ryotaro and Acedia, that 650 attack is nothing to take lightly. This is further supplemented by Dark Shinya's shockingly great moveset for a mid-boss. He basically has access to the entirety of normal Shinya's moveset, which is already a good start. But on top of that, they're all almost either max leveled at 5 or slightly lower at 4. This lets him hit really hard, as well as threatening crippling status effects like bleed and disable to give you a pretty hard time. Weapon and Armor Breaker allow him to debuff attack and defense respectively, and Whirlwind Slash gives him a good AoE option when he's surrounded. Desperate Strike and Attack Hormone are sadly only level 2, but Attack Hormone providing him the ability to increase his offensive power even more is incredibly scary. Desperate Strike's 200% base power off his 650 attack stat also hurts like a motherfucker, though it does cost him a defense debuff. This is coupled with the usual boss passives of Nullify Madness and Costless Arts? Tell me, friends, what is wrong with this picture? That's right, motherfuckers! Shinya, whose one of few drawbacks is having to spend his small HP pool on all of his moves, has that downside completely thrown out the window! His entire moveset is essentially free to use due to not having any authority skills that would incur any madness. This also sort of makes Nullify Madness redundant, but that does protect him from cheeky Resonance or MVP Sanity Swap plays. But still, totally costless Shinya with nearly max skills? That is nuts, man! The combination of his extremely good moveset, high HP, and good stats make Fake Shinya a highly mobile destructive force that can be frighteningly tanky if left alone. His only real folly, besides Attack Hormone not being a high enough level to give 2 buff stacks at once, is the fact he's missing the real Shinya's movement and critical buffs. God forbid what kind of terror he'd be able to cause with those. Now, normally in the case of most bosses, this is where I talk about awakening, but that won't be the case this time around, actually. Being essentially an empty shell, Fake Shinya isn't considered a human unit. fact, if you look at his stat line, you'll see he actually has no racer typing at all. Mechanically, he behaves like a Fiend or Monark by only having a Madness gauge, even if he can't increase it at all by himself. Despite not normally being able to enter Awakening or Madness though, with the power of game fuckery, it is possible for me to force him into those states. His voice lines for each differ from normal Shinya as well, and I think he even sports a slightly different look than normal when he's in Madness or Enlightenment. Take a look and a listen for yourselves.
Take this. Going. This. Take this. Must punish. Full power.
Check this shit out! Real shame you can't see this normally. It is possible this is indeed the exact same as normal Shinya during Madness or Enlightenment, but the lack of effects makes it easier to take a closer look. While Enlightenment on Dark Shinya can't happen normally, it, along with a quadruple attack buff, can lead to interesting results. Normally, impossible circumstances aside, his normal damage potential is no joke. Taking advantage of costless attack hormone to get into max attack buffs is definitely the way to go. And keeping those stacks up is exceedingly easy to do as well. Due to lacking any kind of boss-exclusive skill, there's really not much else to go over aside from his voice lines in battle and continue to show off the havoc he can wreak. So, enjoy jamming out to tier while Lil Bro here punishes some fiends.
Leave it to me. Feel the pain. Predictable.
I won't yield. Die, you dog.
Madness. Destroy.
I have to say, Dark Shinya here is pretty cool in his own right, and a very solid unit overall. I rate his maps to be among the more challenging ones in the game, and failing to deal with the threat he poses correctly can lead to a bad time. But just being a mid-boss, he was really impactful. The context and everything leading up to this fight, and either of the routes it could happen in was horrible, and Deer really sold the mood. Hearing the pain and instability in this copy's voice as well really does bring the incentive nature of this doppelganger in this fight together. Fake or not, this Shinya was made to be real enough to make things down and sting. But I guess it's for all those reasons I'd have to say this is one of the best fights in the game. And Shinya really got the short straw every time in this game's story. I'm sorry, Lil Bro. It's so much better. So concludes this little mini-sode of sorts. Or at least I hope it was a mini-sode, because if this somehow ends up really long again, I have some serious problems with my commentary. There's two ways I can go once again for the next video, if we stick to the fact they're solo bosses. While I'm tempted for things to be sweet and red, I think we'll be going for a blue break next time around, if you catch my drift. Though I am very much looking forward to sweet and red. Thank you all very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope to catch you in future uploads, and I'll see you later.